Now, I think it's really important to recognise and understand the difference between showing off and showing up. Now, I grew up in a culture and a family that certainly seemed to discourage showing off. So I've always had for many years a real reluctance, if you like, to draw attention to myself. It took me a long time to recognise that there was actually a distinction and a difference between showing off and showing up. So showing off, is about drawing attention to ourselves. It can be about blowing our own trumpet, and I don't think there's anything necessarily inherently wrong with that. I think we do need to demonstrate our credibility and our skills and what we're able to do to help people. But let's do it in a way that is more what I call showing up. And to me, showing up is more of a shining our light outwards rather than drawing the attention to ourselves. I think when we show up, we're actually being really generous. Because in my experience, for most of us, we have kind of programming and conditioning and all sorts of stuff that says, don't draw attention to yourself, because if you draw attention to yourself, you're likely to get negative attention. I think a lot of us have kind of self-judgment that when we do truly show up, it's really been an act of courage and an act of leadership to let ourselves be seen, to let ourselves be known, to make a contribution to life, to say things which are valuable to people and say, actually I do have some ideas, I do have solutions, I do see ways through. So I really honour people that are willing to show up. I think it's tremendously courageous. I think for us to show up is an incredibly generous thing for us to do, to offer what we've got, to put ourselves often in the firing line and to get judgment and criticism of us at times and learn to handle that and not to be so hurt by it that we then stop showing up. So I really encourage you to show up. And I think what to me makes this all kind of linked together and and have a kind of coherence to it is that when we show up, we are the answer to each other's prayers. I think we're all here with unique gifts and talents that kind of weave together, and that as each of us shows up, it inspires other people to show up too. I know there have been so many people in my life who have inspired me to show up because of who they've been being, and I've kind of gone, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I could do something like that? And in time I have done my version of what they were doing. I've shown up in my ways, and I know as I've shown up in my life, it's inspired so many other people to show up in their lives. So that's today's tip, is to really embrace and be willing to let yourself be seen and known and share your gifts and make your contribution to life. Really be willing to show up.